to Baxie's Musical Podcast. Resistance is useless!
Hey everybody, it's Bax, and welcome back to Baxie's Musical Podcast. You know, from time to time, an emerging talent just seems to pop out of nowhere. But what you don't often get a chance to see is that these alleged overnight sensations don't just come out of nowhere. Usually, there's years of hard work, endless ambition, unwavering resilience, infused with more than just a few strokes of good luck. You also have to have enough talent to put all that stuff together, because talent alone isn't always enough. Which brings me to today's guest. At the age of 19, Rosalind Crane was discovered by Adam Levine of Maroon 5. Not as a contestant on The Voice. Rozzi was discovered by Levine a full year before that show went on the air, and a full year before he would become a judge on that show. That was back in 2010. The year before that, as a freshman at USC, she had published a handful of songs, and by her sophomore year, she would become one of the background singers for Don Henley. And by 2012, Rozzi would become the very first artist signed by Adam Levine's 222 record label. She would tour with Maroon 5, Kelly Clarkson, and a bunch of other people. But by 2018, she was able to release her first album called Bad Together, with help from people like Kendrick Lamar and several others. This year, however, she's released a brand new EP entitled Berry, featuring heavyweights like Nile Rodgers. What I'm getting at is this. Rozzi is a talent that has captured an incredible amount of attention, loads of support, and has secured a couple of really good breaks along the way, including at least one appearance on the Jimmy Kimmel Live show. Rozzi Crane is a woman with a tremendous amount of momentum and enough promise to make you think that she's about to become an overnight sensation, even though she's worked tirelessly to get to this point, where she finally gets to talk to a guy like me. If that's not a sign of great things to come for this young lady, then I don't know what the hell is. This is my conversation with Rozzi Crane on Baxie's Musical Podcast. Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Very good. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. It's actually pretty exciting to be talking to someone who looks like they're about to explode all over the place. It's kind of nice.
Oh, thank you.
This sounds like it's a pretty exciting time for you right now. Everything seems to kind of be reaching a momentum, and everything seems to be about ready to click. What does that feel like?
It feels great. I mean, I think for me, the most satisfying feeling is feeling like I've really made music and art that feels like me, and people are connecting with it. You know, like that's just kind of the most satisfying feeling in the world. Like I feel like we're building something that's long lasting.
I was listening to the new EP this week, and I mean, I may not be the guy to predict or identify what constitutes a hit or what does not constitute a hit, but it really does seem like when you hear a song and you hear like, okay, maybe things are falling into place here, you get the sense that the momentum is really here, and this new album is coming out next month. I mean, there's just got to be an overwhelming anticipation for you right now. Tell me what's going on in your head. I mean, the album is pretty much done. Now you're just waiting for its release. What does that anticipation feel like?
It's hard sometimes. I think the timing is always bizarre. Like these songs came from really specific moments in my life that some of them are fairly recently, some of them are a pretty long time ago. And so I'm still kind of connecting to that. And then the creation of the album happened at various times. And then now I'm just, like you said, I'm done and I'm just waiting for it to be out. And it's like, it's like we're on a time lapse or something. Like I'm like, I'm already thinking about what I'm making next, honestly. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm like, what record am I making next? So I'm just excited to have it out in the world and have that chapter really closed and celebrated, hopefully.
Yeah,
so.
and I know if it were me, I'd be consumed with excitement and fear and second guessing myself at every possible moment. Of course.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not allowed. I would never let myself listen to the album. No, never again.
Well, I would think that after spending so much time putting together an album, or any song for that matter, at some point you say, it's either done or I just can't listen to it anymore.
100%. I mean, the thing that's really interesting is that my music is so personal that I could theoretically keep editing this music forever because like it's about me. So it's like it's really like capturing a moment in time. And if I it's like I have to just cut myself off because
Yeah.
this album will represent a certain part of my life that for the most part I'm not actually really in anymore. I'm in this new phase, you know? And so it's like I can't really let the influence of me today influence the version of me however many months ago that finished this album, you
Yeah.
know? So it is weird. It's hard, but at the same time, my favorite thing about releasing music is the songs are no longer mine. It does not matter how many secrets of mine are in the lyrics and how personal the songs are. It is no longer mine. It belongs to the listener, and like everybody can project their own stories, hopefully, into my words. And that's my favorite thing ever. So it takes on a new life, you know.
But the checks and the bank accounts do belong to you. So,
That's true.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to get away from that. Business is business.
that
So,
is true.
so as I'm listening to the EP the other day, I come across the song, Consequences, and I immediately think, okay, if there's a hit on this thing, that's it. And then, as I'm reading, and Nile Rodgers is involved with it, and I'm just thinking, y- you know, how does it feel to be working with a guy like that? He's a walking hit factory, and
Yeah,
I mean, he's at the point in his career where I'm sure he doesn't really do anything unless he really believes in it. He doesn't have to. So when he's
right.
involved in a song or producing or co-producing, I don't know if he's just co-produced that song or others on the album, but I got to believe if you got a guy like that in your corner, that's pretty telling.
It is. I mean, it that has meant so much to me. Like the validation, just like you said, of Niall being like, yes, I want to work with you, is I want to put my name on your song, you know, that as an artist just means so much to me because obviously he has like an unbelievable track record and like an unreal like list of songs that he's been a part of. It's outrageous. So, and I know that he, you know, really loves to support like newer artists now. Like you said, it's like he doesn't really he just do whatever he wants. So when he
Yeah.
hears something that excites him, I think he likes to be involved, and that's so cool. And it's funny, I didn't meet him in person until this summer when the song had already been out. And we had been all we had done is FaceTimed and like called each other on the phone to finish the song. And then we both played the show in London and we were on the same stage. And I finally met him in person. It was very exciting.
So I mean, what does a guy like that do? Does he give you some advice? Does he just tell you good job? I mean,
Yeah,
I would not want to let that guy out of the room and just say, Niall, sit down with me and
totally.
tell me what I should be doing correctly.
Yes, he's got insane stories. So he will call and tell me the most unbelievable stories. That's really fun. I mean, his life is like there should be a movie about him. His life is so insane. And then yeah, I mean, one thing that was fantastic about working with him is he really like was interested in my vision. You know, he's like, "What are you hearing? What do you want for this song?" And we were going to do a different song first, actually. And then we and he was the same way. He was like, "What's your vision for it?" And I kind of told him to just try it, whatever. End of the day, like he was just very open, you know. And
Yeah.
then we ended up working on a song that Consequences was just made for him, so that one made more sense in the end.
So as I'm trying to prepare for this interview and I'm, reading up on as much Rozzi information as I can possibly find, the thing that keeps leaping out at me, and 12 years ago, you allegedly get discovered by Adam Levine of Maroon 5.
Hmm.
Tell me about that. What actually happened? How did he find you, or did you pursue him or Maroon 5? How did that come to be?
It was crazy. It was pretty fairy tale like in some ways. I was just a student at USC, a music student, and I wrote a song with a mutual friend of Adam's, and he heard it. And I guess he like stalked me on YouTube and watched some videos of me singing. And then he just literally wrote me an email being like, I don't have a label, but I'll start one if you'll be on it. Which was insane. I mean, I literally was like I was like a sophomore in college, you know, it was crazy.
Most
And I'm, you
most
know,
most people to get an email from an Adam Levine are like, okay, sure. And there's a
yeah,
Nigerian prince who's gonna give me a check for $1 million.
exactly. Exactly. No, it was sent, you know, his manager sent it through to me. So I knew it was real, but I was at a party when I got the email and I had to read it over and over. I asked my friend to read it. I was like, does this say what I think it says? Because I felt the same way. I was like, what? So, it's like, I'm really grateful for somebody recognizing me like that. I mean, I've come a long way since then, but I will never not be grateful for somebody in his position, his success, his power, to see me, not know me, and just hear my voice and believe in it. That, you know, that will always mean a lot to me.
You are the first artist he signs to his record company, again, 12 years ago. Things start to
Mhm.
slowly transpire. You start touring. Sergio Mendes, I think you toured with. Don Henley, I think you toured with too.
That was before, actually. That's when
It was
I was a
before?
background singer.
All right. You know what?
Yeah.
When I was in college, I had some level of ambition, but I wasn't anywhere near that.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on at the USC campus, but had to be a little bit more than football over there.
Yeah, the pop music school is amazing. I listen. I knew what I wanted to be when I was like 6 years old, but nobody in my family or in my world knew anything about being an artist or the entertainment industry at all. And so I always felt like I had a lot to prove, and I was running out of time, and I had to do it right then, and I had to figure it out. So yes, I came to school, and I was like, I came in hot. Really, I was ready to go.
Yeah. It's got to be kind
Yeah.
of nice though to fashion yourself a music career, and one that's showing a lot of promise, and not having to go on The Voice and have Adam be your coach to do it.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cool way of doing it.
Yeah. I remember at school everybody saying that's the only way, you have to go on these shows. And there's nothing, I don't have anything against those shows. Like, they've been amazing for a lot of my friends, and I know people love them, and it's awesome. It's a great opportunity. It's just like, for me, like, I'm a songwriter and an artist, and it always felt like too big of a risk of like letting go of too much control, which ironically kind of ends up happening anyway when you sign record deals when you're really young. But I was just afraid of that, and I think I'm proud of that, to be honest. I agree with you. I'm glad
Yeah.
that I didn't have to go that route.
12 years is still a long time from that point
Yes.
to now. So in other words, there's not going to be a Rozzi overnight success story. It's like it's taken 12 years
Definitely.
of paying
Yeah.
dues and working hard and honing your craft. Obviously, there's a certain amount of motivation that's coming directly from you and encouragement that's coming from others. But where is it coming from within you? What's still motivating you to keep going after
Yeah.
12 years of working this hard?
Oh, that's such a great question. I think when I was 6 and I sang in this first grade talent show, and I knew that's what I wanted to do, what I felt was not about attention. It wasn't even really about singing, because I could sing anywhere. And it wasn't even about like music even. It was about this feeling of connection. I
Right.
think, like, this feeling of, I share something from my soul, and these strangers out in front of me can have an emotional reaction to that, and feel what I can make them feel what I'm feeling. And I feel that as a fan all the time. I listen to my favorite music, and they make me feel all sorts of things, and I feel so attached and linked to these people all over the world that I've never met. And that to me is like my purpose. And I'm not trying to be too woo woo about it. It's like, it's just a fact. Like, I just, like, that's what I'm supposed to do, is connect with people. So you're right. I've had a lot of ups and downs, and it has not been easy, certainly, but there was never a single moment in my entire life where I doubted it, ever, because it's like saying I have brown hair. Like, it's just a fact. Like, that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, I'm listening to Bad Together from 2018. I'm listening to the new EP. I listened to some of the other things that you've released in between, and you said it yourself. I mean, your songwriting, lyrically, certainly very, very personal, and culled from your own personal experiences. Tell me about that. How do you approach the songwriting? Are the lyrics the thing that drives the music, or is it the other way around? Where are you reaching to get to that point?
Lyrics first. You hit the nail on the head. I don't know how to write a melody if I don't have a word. I mean, I'm kind of exaggerating. Like, obviously I can, but it's just so much harder. Like, for me, it's all about the lyrics, and the melody and the music just serves the story. Like, that's just my perspective on it. So I write lyrics a ton. I'm journaling all the time. I'm writing poems all the time. And then I'll bring those into the studio with whoever I'm collaborating with. And I'll usually like read them my poem and then we'll like jam on it, basically. So it's definitely lyrics first for me.
So how, over the course of the last 12 years, or whenever you started writing music, I'm going to assume it's probably
Yeah,
further than
before
12
that.
years,
Yeah.
probably,
Yeah.
since you were a kid, but
Yeah.
how has that changed for you? does it become easier? Does it become more difficult, or do you really have to dig into this,
It goes
into
in
this pit?
phases, you know. Yeah, no, it goes in phases. You know, I think for a while I lost a little bit of the spark. I think with my first record deal and even at USC a little bit, I wasn't really treated like a songwriter. And I'm not, you know, it's being this vulnerable requires a fair amount of like self, like belief in yourself, you know. And at that age and that first record deal, I didn't really get the validation that I was a writer. And I kind of let that spark fade a little bit. So that was a big phase that got harder for me. And then once I got dropped from that label, I really like spent a year just rebuilding myself
Mm.
as an artist. And that was all about writing. So I really learned these skills then. It's like, for me, it's really about consistency, like making it a habit. I wake up every morning and I write something lyrically and getting out of my comfort zone, like in my life. Like, because I, like you said, I write such personal songs. Like, I need to do shit that scares me. You know what I mean? In
Well, and
order to,
I would imagine as an artist who does it that way, it's easier it's easier to keep doing it if you've always done it that way. You know, sometimes you'll see an artist who, you know, will write lyrics just, you know, and they're just, you know, simple little love songs, and then, you know, 15 years later they say, okay, now I'm going to write something really personal. And then at their point in their career, you know, a real personal song may be, you know, I got bumped to coach, you know, after writing First Class, and I didn't like the way
right,
it felt, and I'm hurt by
right,
it. But
right.
when you're in that zone of doing it, you know, it's like
Mhm.
anything else, the muscle memory of,
It's a muscle. Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
absolutely.
Totally. Yeah, it's, and I noticed, you know, like I've been touring, I've been playing a lot of shows recently, and I noticed that that can sometimes infringe a little bit on my writing because it's like it's such a different thing. It's just like you said, like you have to really maintain the muscle and like keep it in shape. Um, which is weird because you think of writing, oh, the muse strikes me and I have some crazy inspiration. And that does happen. But for me, it's like I have to be prepared for that to
Right.
happen. Like I need to be like open to it happening. And that requires me like staying emotionally connected to what I'm feeling every single day. It's exhausting.
Yeah. Oh,
It's really
I got
exhausting.
to believe it is. So when when I was listening to your older stuff way back in 2015, and I listened to, you know, where things are now, and, you know, again, I listened to the first record, I listened to, you know, Bad Together, and it just seems
Mhm.
like over the course of 3 or 4 years, maybe there's a leap in your
Mhm.
songwriting. Like it's suddenly become maybe more sophisticated, maybe more focused, even a little jazzier in some
Mhm.
places. Do
Definitely.
you feel that's true? I mean, do you feel like right now you're
Yes.
writing as good as you have?
Yes. I think, well, first of all, there's a lot of songs on that first step that I did put out with Adam that I didn't write. And that's, I'll be honest, I used to not say this, but I would love to for those songs to not be in the internet. Like I don't own them. Universal owns them. So if they out there, they feel bad for me, they want to just do me a solid and just though, and not because I the reason I don't say that very often is I know people love those songs and I don't want to take that away from them because I think they're amazing songs too. I love them. They're just not, I didn't write a lot of them and they're just not, they're not me. I hadn't figured myself out yet. And I was a kid when I got signed and it's just, it's, you're 100% right. I wouldn't say it was a leap as much as like I turned inwards and I just was myself. Like Bad Together is my first record to me. That
Yeah.
that is my first record, even though it's not. It is because that was the first time that I really had the autonomy to make the music I wanted to make. And undeniably, I'm still evolving. Like I will always prefer probably my most recent music. Like I think that's the nature of being an artist. But Bad Together feels like me. I mean, it's my stories. It's just the stuff before that is not. It's just not. And I don't. So that's always a tricky thing for me. I think a lot of artists deal with that when they're signed when super young. You know, but yeah, I think my songwriting now is definitely its
It's
best.
that
I have to
I have to
say.
agree. I have to agree.
Yeah.
But you've had a lot of people along the way kind of in your corner here. I mean, you're not just Adam Levine, but I mean, I'm you know, Kendrick Lamar has worked with you, Nile Rodgers, like we talked about. You've been on the Kimmel show. You know, all these
Mhm.
things have happened to you over the course of a very brief period of time and the second half of your music career. When you are experiencing those moments when these people are saying, "Listen, I love what you do. I want to help." or yeah, I'll be happy to help you, or whatever it may be. What are you
Mhm.
learning from these people? And do they feel okay teaching you any of this stuff?
Yeah, I think everything you mentioned, I learned something different. I remember when I met Kendrick, which was incredible. I was like, "What are you doing later?" Like we were just like being small talk kind of. And he was like, "Back to the studio, back to the studio, always." And I could tell that was just like where he lived. And that was a few years before I really had my like a personal artistic awakening where I really understood that and the deeper level of what it means. Like what I was saying earlier about consistency and just constantly working. He was the first spark of that. I was like, "Oh, okay, here's one of the greatest artists of our time telling me that all he's doing is creating."
Yeah.
And that was massive. Jimmy Kimmel let me sing it twice on the show, which was really nice. We ended up using the first one I did, so it was live, but that was really nice of him. um, and I also learned that night. It's funny actually. I did the song I was there to promote was called "Never Over You," which is more of like a more pop leaning song of mine. And then at the end of the show, I sang. They let me just do a bit of my song called "Uphill Battle," which is a more personal, like I'm a little bit more proud of that song. That song means a lot to me. And at the end, the next day, I found out that the like sales uptick or whatever, the uphill battle was like 300% more than Never Over You was. And that was a little light bulb for me too. I was like, oh, okay, so maybe the music that I personally connect with the most is the guiding light I should be following. It's like I just kept getting reinforced by these brilliant artists to trust your gut.
Yeah.
Trust your gut. You're an artist for a reason. There's a lot of people around you with a lot of ideas, and a lot of those ideas are good, but the problem is you're unique, and that is the point. Like you're here to express something specific. And they all kind of reinforce that for me in different ways, I would say.
I want to talk about your voice here for a minute because we could talk about songwriting all day long, but the fact of the matter is the primary instrument you're dealing with is this voice.
Mhm.
And it doesn't happen very often when a voice doesn't always seem to fit the person it's coming from.
Yeah.
When I listen to it, I close my eyes and I see someone who's older and maybe just has lived like maybe a rougher
Mhm.
existence. It's this real smoky sounding
Mhm.
powerful voice. At what point in your development as a singer did you really start to come to grips with what you were given, because it is a very
Yeah.
unique sounding voice?
Well, thank you. That's so nice. I mean, I think I was like really delusional when I was young and I thought I sounded like that
Aren't we all?
always.
Every kid is.
Yeah, I was like the voice that people hear now, I'm serious, is the voice I heard in my head for almost my entire life, which actually makes me like really believe in manifesting because I was just like I sound like Christina Aguilera. I do. And I watch videos when I'm a kid. I didn't. I was not that good. Like I really wasn't. So that's a hard question for me to answer for that reason. It's like I felt it within myself before it actually existed. I do remember like I remember like really specific moments. Like when I was in seventh grade, I sang at this one show that really stuck with me. It was the first time a stranger came up to me in a way that I could tell I had emotionally touched her. I was like 12 or 13, and that was
Hmm.
the first time that had ever happened. That really stuck with me. I was like, oh, okay, it's not just like my mom's friends who tell me that you did a good job. It's like this woman felt something. And then I remember when I was like maybe like 18, 19, it kind of happened very quickly. It's like I kind of came into my own and got the background vocal gigs, got signed. It was like very quick. It was like as soon as I kind of came into my own, I got that validation. So probably around then.
Did you take voice lessons? I mean, did you do all
Yes.
that?
Yes. I still take voice lessons. I have an amazing teacher, Jeffrey Allen in LA. He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, and I took lessons before that, Amber Morris in the Bay Area. I'm a big singing nerd. Like I like I said, I don't think I was born that good. I think I just am obsessed with it and I
Yeah.
have practiced almost every single day of my life.
It's funny. So I've interviewed a bunch of people who have singers, and
Mhm.
everyone's got a different approach to it. Some say, I don't,
Mhm.
I haven't taken a lesson in my entire life. And then some will
Mhm.
say, I've been screaming metal songs forever. I don't even warm up. I just go on the stage and,
Yeah.
belch it all out.
Yeah.
And then there are guys who have, people who have been around for a real long time who do exactly what you're talking about. They treat it like a professional athlete treats their entire physique.
Exactly.
And and the people that do are the ones who have the voices that are maybe more elastic than other people, much more flexibility, as opposed to somebody who maybe has a half octave range.
Sure. More limited.
Yeah, much more limited. And the more that you work with it, it's like any other muscle. If you don't exercise it, it begins to atrophy and fall apart. And we've all heard those performances where, someone who's at the tail end of their career just isn't holding their end.
Totally. And I think that's why, like, singing for me is like necessary. It's like walking. Like, I don't know what I would do without it. And so I probably have a fair amount of just like neuroses and fear, which is keeping me practicing every day. Because I want to be 80 and I want to be Tony Bennett. I want to be singing forever. And so, yeah, I'm a dork about it 100%. I mean, my warm-ups, the only people I let hear them are my boyfriend and my best friend, and they both hate them. So I do them all the time, and they're just annoying. Yeah.
See, I used to like sing in a high school chorus, but yet, like, I never sing around the house. I don't think my wife has ever heard me sing, and it's just I'm like so self-conscious about fucking it up. And I know,
the thing, you have to do it to get there.
I know.
It's like you just said, it's a muscle. I mean, you should do? You should just go in your car. That's what I do. I warm up in my car when I really don't want people to hear. That's another secret.
That is what I do. And in my head, I'm Freddie Mercury, but I'm more like, I'm more like Fred Mertz from I'm more Fred Mertz from I Love Lucy than I am Freddie Mercury. But nevertheless, I mean, but I know what you mean. Like you think you've got this vision, this manifestation in your head, but it takes hard work to get it out of your mouth. And I don't know if a lot of people understand how hard that is.
It's very hard. Yeah. I mean, I think you have to be obsessed. You have to be obsessed. That's like the only thing I'm obsessed with singing. And I've tried other stuff in my life. I've dabbled in a little bit of acting. Obviously, I'm a songwriter. I am pretty obsessed with that. But it's hard. There's not that many things that I'm obsessed with. It's like I happen to be obsessed with singing. And so that's what I do every day, all day. And I'm obsessed with getting better. I really am. Yeah. It's just fun. It's fun to discover what my voice is capable of.
So the release of the new record is the 18th of November. It's a Berry Deluxe. Did I get that right? Is that what it's going to be?
Yeah. So basically, it's a little confusing, but because BMG, my record label, very wise, people have short attention spans. We have slowly been releasing this album for a while now. So the Hymn for Tomorrow EP, which came out, I think, the 2021, maybe last year. Yeah.
Right.
And then the Berry EP, which came out this year, are combined for this. That's the album, plus 4 new songs. So a lot of this music is already out, but there's 4 more songs being added. And it's also just hearing the album the way I always intended it to be heard. I always intended for this to be one album, not multiple EPs. And so it's just so we can live on in history as an album.
And resequenced, or a different sequence, or you're just side 1, side 2?
No, it's resequence, which I think is going to probably bug some people, I'm assuming, because they probably get used to the sequence of the EPs. I would understand that. It would probably bug me, but I just have to say I believe in the sequence, so I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm doing the sequence that I want. And I'm also printing vinyl, so I want, the albums, that sequence. It's just important that it flows the way that I feel like it should.
You got a couple of live dates in November. What's the plan heading forward into 2023? Are you going to be touring with this, or what's the plan?
Yeah, I have to say I'm not entirely sure yet. I have some shows for the end of the year, which is great. A handful of shows, but yes, those November dates are my release dates in LA and New York, which are particularly special. And then I think I probably will do some touring with this early. I know I already am doing some in February, at least, to be determined, but I will do hopefully some more touring. But I have to say, I think I'll probably be writing a lot and getting whatever is next together, because kind of like you said at the beginning of this, I feel like something really great in the air, a certain momentum that I've never felt in my career, just a certain kind of coming together of things And I feel like what's calling to me is to really just keep going with it and make
Yeah.
whatever is next and keep releasing this music. So.
Well, it's very rare when I get to talk to someone who is about to become something really special. You already started off that way, but it's kind of cool. We all know the artists that we love. We don't all know the artists that we're about to love, and I think that's really cool.
Oh, that gives me chills. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. Thank you so much.
I'm a pretty
Yeah.
special guy, so I got a lot of nice things to say.
It's true.
Rozzi, congratulations on everything you're doing and everything that's yet to come. It's a real pleasure to talk to you, and I wish you all the luck.
Thank you so much. This was so fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Not
Can't
a
wait
problem.
to hear it all.
All right, take care. The name of Rozzi's new EP is called Berry, and the title of the upcoming album is called Berry Deluxe. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to like it, subscribe it, share it with all your friends. You can also email me at bax@rock102.com. I'd love to know what you think. And thanks again for listening to Baxie's Musical Podcast.